Welcome, everyone, to Beers with Jesus, Todd's World. I'm Todd. Carrie's with me.
Hello.
We're back.
We're back.
After a long hiatus.
New and improved.
It's probably been, 4 weeks for beers almost.
Gosh, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It does feel like it's been a while.
But that's okay.
I've still been hanging with Jesus. How about you, Todd?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, everything's good. We did news last night. So if you guys haven't listened to the Wildly Opinionated News Hour, we're on a new platform now, and we were able, for the first time, to share clips so you guys can, the clips show up on the video, and you can watch the clips with us. I know that in professional multi-million-dollar podcasting land, that's not much of an accomplishment, but it did end up being an accomplishment for us.
Hey, you know what? I don't even think Joe Rogan puts clips.
He sometimes does. Sometimes will put things.
Mostly just them.
It is mostly just them. So anyway, I thought news was great. We talked about the chick who tried to run over an ICE agent in Minneapolis and got shot for her efforts. And because I think the principle of sowing and reaping is undefeated on earth, I think, right? You go looking for trouble, you're apt to find it if you look for it hard enough.
I think so.
So we talked about that. We talked about all kinds of things. The Maduro raid. What else? We had some Rush. We had some Chinese population.
Daycares.
The moon's fake.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the other side of the moon. What's there?
I don't even know what that guy was talking about.
That was interesting. That's worth the show right there, just the clip that you shared. We were all over the place.
But today we're back to Beers with Jesus. Listen, I'm doing a bunch of work on toddsworld.net. Check it out. We've got a bunch of new merch. And very soon I'm going to have all my books up. So we're going to have you're going to have 5 different books. There's going to be available in ebooks. What it's going to do is they're going to everything. You can go to toddsworld.net for everything, and then it'll shoot you to Amazon to buy the book. Or if you're doing an audio book, maybe you got a deal with Audible, and then you can get your monthly book. Or Spotify, same thing. I use Spotify Premium, and I get a bunch of free audiobooks. So,
you do? On Spotify? Yeah, I don't have Spotify Premium, but I've never used it for books.
I don't know with the non-premium, because I don't even know how much premium is. I think I pay $30-some a month for Spotify. But to be fair, I get 6 accounts for that.
I was going to say, does your whole
It's like a family thing, yeah. And everybody uses it, and so, and we all love it. So,
you get it commercial free?
Yes.
Yeah, I listen to Spotify, and I deal with the commercials, which is a drag.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I've ever been on Spotify with commercials. I've had premium for so long.
They're really annoying.
Yeah.
They'll say,
so here,
listen
cheers.
To this ad, you'll have 30 minutes uninterrupted, and I don't think they ever do 30 minutes.
Cheers to 2026.
2026.
Beers with Jesus. Yeah. Jesus is still here. He's still turning water into beer.
He's still trying to what?
He's still turning water into beer.
Oh.
I mean, on a macro level. into all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So we're back in Acts.
Still here.
Anyway, check out toddsworld.net, guys, and go back and listen to the Wildly Opinionated News Hour if you haven't. So it's wildly entertaining this week. But now we're back to Acts.
All right, the Book of Acts.
The Book of Acts. We left off in Acts 19. We only read from the Message version on this show because, it's the only real Bible. I just don't know why anybody would use anything else.
Don't listen to Todd.
But if you want to, you can use whatever Bible you want.
Yes.
Just we're gonna keep the Message on this show.
Yeah. If you're following along and it's not jiving with what you're reading, you might have another version, and that's okay.
Just means yours is worse.
Be nice.
I kid.
I was actually going to say, I was going to clarify for people who are new to the Bible that the book of Acts is called the Acts of the Apostles, but it doesn't even say that at the front of my chapter. Or
In the
yeah, the
message.
front of the book.
Yeah, see?
It just says Acts.
Only the message gets it right.
mean,
I don't know why that is.
It is the book. The book is called the Acts of the Apostles, is it not?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure that the headings on the books are inspired. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I think we know Luke wrote it, but I'm not sure that he was. I don't know if he had a title page in his scroll. I just don't know.
Right, but I'm just saying
it would make sense that it would be. It is the Acts of the Apostles. That's what we're reading about. So it would make sense that it would be. Like just Acts is kind of weird. Like Acts of what?
I just when you said it, I thought, if someone's kind of new, they might be like, "Why is it called that?"
Yeah. No, it's good that you brought that up, Carrie. Otherwise, what would we do?
Are you teasing me?
No, I'm serious. The Gospels and this file Acts, the Acts of the Apostles. So within the Gospels, you've got 4 different views of the same story, which is Jesus and his ministry on earth, his death and his eventual resurrection. And then in the Acts of the Apostles, the story continues with the new church. And so right now we're reading about Paul. I think he's on his maybe 3rd missionary journey. It probably will be his final one. Okay. And we're going to roll through some today. We're going to get through a little bit, I think. We're going to get through the rest of 19 and maybe half of 20 and just blast on through. And what we do on here for the people who are new is we just read the stories of the Bible. We kind of explore them together. We try to get the different characters' point of view, and we I think that you'll find it's a little different than what's out there.
Yeah.
And that it's a lot better.
It's very okay.
Just because it's us.
Listen, I love to toot our own horn, just as much as the next person, but as much as the next podcaster. But yeah, it is different. We're not comparing ourselves with everyone else.
It's not like a homily.
It's not a homily. We try not to preach. We just share our experience, and you tell, this tells the story. You walk us through it, and we share how it's relevant to us.
And we drink
a little bit.
That's
Especially after a full day of work, both of us are like, "Woo!" I don't have reserves next to me though. I only have this one with.
I do too. So we're gonna have to get through this.
All right,
we'll make it. We'll keep it efficient for the folks today. Okay. We're in Acts 19, verse 21, in the message. The heading in the message is the goddess Artemis. Paul's been in Ephesus, and he still is in Ephesus with a group of disciples. Okay. After all this had reached its peak, Paul decided it was time to move on to Macedonia and Achaia provinces, and from there to Jerusalem. Then he said, I'm off to Rome. I've got to see Rome. He sent 2 of his assistants, Timothy and Erastus, on to Macedonia and then stayed for a while and wrapped things up in Asia. But before he got away, a huge ruckus occurred over what was now being referred to as the Way. A certain silversmith, Demetrius, conducted a brisk trade in the manufacture of shrines to the goddess Artemis, employing a number of artisans in his business. He rounded up his workers and others similarly employed and said, Men, you well know that we have a good thing going here. And you've seen how Paul has barged. Oh my gosh,
that's what I read also when you said it. So that's funny.
And you've seen how Paul has barged in and discredited what we're doing by telling people that there's no such thing as a God made with hands. A lot of people are going along with him, not only here in Ephesus, but all through the Asia province. Not only is our little business in danger of falling apart, but the temple of our famous goddess Artemis will certainly end up a pile of rubble as her glorious reputation fades to nothing. And this is no mere local matter. The whole world worships our Artemis. That set them off in a frenzy. They ran into the street yelling, "Great Artemis of the Ephesians! Great Artemis of the Ephesians!" They put the whole city in an uproar, stampeding into the stadium and grabbing two of Paul's associates on the way. The Macedonians, Gaius and Aristarchus? I don't know. Paul wanted to go in too, but the disciples wouldn't let him. Prominent religious leaders in the city who had become friendly to Paul concurred. By no means go near that mob. Some were yelling one thing and another, or some another. Most of them had no idea what was going on or why they were even there. As the Jews pushed Alexander to the front to try to gain control, different factions clamored to get him on their side. But he brushed them off and quieted the mob with an impressive sweep of his arms. But the moment he opened his mouth and they knew he was a Jew, they shouted him down. "Great Artemis of the Ephesians! Great Artemis of the Ephesians!" On and on for over 2 hours. In Minneapolis, of all places. Can you believe it? Finally, the town clerk got the mob quieted down and said, "Fellow citizens, is there anyone anywhere who doesn't know that our dear city Ephesus is protector of glorious Artemis and her sacred stone image that fell straight out of heaven? Since this is beyond contradiction, you had better get a hold of yourselves. This is conduct unworthy of Artemis. These men you've dragged in here have done nothing to harm either our temple or our goddess. So if Demetrius and his guild of artisans have a complaint, they can take it to court and make all the accusations they want. If anything else is bothering you, bring it to the regularly scheduled town meeting and let it be settled there. There is no excuse for what's happening today. We're putting our city in danger, in serious danger. Rome, remember, does not look kindly on rioters." With that, he sent them home. So we'll deal with that to begin with.
Okay.
Then I think we'll go on into that first section of 20.
Okay, gotcha.
So, what do you think? Kind of interesting, right?
It is interesting.
So it's not only Paul dealt with a lot of the Jews being upset with him, and a lot of persecution from the Jews, but now here he's dealing with it from Gentiles. So this isn't the Jews in Ephesus. Paul's been there a while, and obviously the gospel's starting to make a difference. It's growing to the point where they feel like it's impacting their trade.
Right. Because this business is of crafting these.
Yeah, and the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus was just, I don't know if it was one of the 7 wonders of the world, but it was a beautiful place. It was
Okay.
When they say that Artemis was worshipped all over the world, I mean, yeah, this temple was well known, and this was the main temple of Artemis.
Was this the same Artemis as in like Greek mythology?
I think so. I think it's a version of
goddess of
Aphrodite or
war?
something.
Oh.
Or not. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm going to look it up real quick. I thought that Artemis was the goddess of war.
You could be right. I don't know. I thought Mars was or something. Maybe that's in Rome. Roman.
Let's see.
All the different gods.
Goddess of the hunt, wilderness, wild animals, childbirth, and chastity.
Wow, all kinds of things going on.
Okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
the gospel's starting to grow to the point where it's impacting the society. It's impacting even those who aren't Christians, because
Right.
it's
People are just
changing.
pulling away from.
Yeah, it's changing some behaviors. Well, these guys make their money selling gods.
Yeah.
And if the entire point of the gospel is that's crazy, there's no God except God, you don't
Right.
need all the little trinkets, then that's going to have an impact as it spreads and more people don't believe in anything. They don't buy what you're selling. You know what I mean? They think, oh, that's crazy.
Right.
Why would anybody Why would anybody do that?
Well, and I was going to say, and in the big picture, if the people are starting to turn towards a monotheistic, like there's one God rather than a goddess of this and a god of that
Right.
and so on and so forth, it's like that's a huge shift. And like you said, not even to full Christianity yet, just to be listening to the message of the gospel and treating this like, well, this is an old way. And I mean, it would impact a lot. That would be a major cultural shift, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that even if you look at the Great Awakening, whether it's in England or the American side, there was the first and second Great Awakening. They were,
Okay.
I think, in
Right.
the 1700s,
Okay.
and
I
those
remember this
those
from
were
literature classes.
that would be like Jonathan Edwards and George Whitefield and the guys I just blanked on them. The brothers who founded the Methodist Church and the Wesleyan Church, the Wesleys,
Oh. Okay.
John Wesley and his brother.
All right.
So anyway, the point is that as these revivals kicked into gear, you would you would see noticeable signs like if revival swept through a town, sometimes saloons would shut down because their business would just disappear for a while. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm sure they started back up at some point, but
They wouldn't have been fans of Beers with Jesus.
or like houses of ill repute. You know what I mean? Like you've got your prostitutes or whatever.
Right.
But those kinds of things are going to be, or gambling, that kind of thing. All of those things kind of centered in that saloon culture back then. But do you think that happens now, today? Do you feel like that when you have shifts, that maybe when the gospel starts to take hold, that we start to see it in the wider culture, and then the wider culture starts to get a little scared, threatened, even?
I don't know if businesses are impacted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never witnessed like a whole community turn in
Right.
such a way that would impact businesses. But you do see unsavory businesses in the same areas.
Yeah.
Like here in Jacksonville, there's like a little part of town where it's like you got a gentleman's club, you got like tattoos and piercings and smoke shops and vaping, this and that. You know what I mean? Like they're always kind of near each other. So,
The purveyors of vice.
sure. Like I guess you go from one, whatever liquor store. They're all kind of together, I guess. So,
So it's definitely true that, like,
you ever seen a shift like that?
I don't know, but I mean, we have seen. In fact, we're seeing it right now. I don't know if you'd say it's because of a revival, but it's certainly a shift in the cultural and political winds. They've defunded most of the government funding that went into Planned Parenthoods, and Planned Parenthoods are shutting down around the country.
Okay, there you go.
So it's a funding thing,
Yeah.
but still the political will behind that represents a shift.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
And so we do see things like that, and people get mad. The people who it affects get mad, and that's what was happening here. Like they make these gods. This is how they make their money. This is how they make a living.
Right.
And when you say that those aren't gods, Paul, you're flying right in the face of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you can understand why they got upset. It's interesting that they got the whole town into an uproar.
Right?
It
It seems like we've seen that quite a bit in the Bible. I mean, you think about it, there's, I don't know, you could say it's happening today too, but we just see it a lot. And I think in these towns, like, they all know each other. I feel like they're
Yeah.
probably small towns. They all know each other. And
Well,
I think,
Ephesus was pretty big. I bet there was 200,000 people in ancient Ephesus.
excuse me.
Like, that's
Okay.
a lot of people.
Right, but like in that area, like again, in that section of town, they probably all know each other. They all know Demetrius, and I just imagine that it'd be easy
He
to
whips
get
'em up.
everybody fired. Yeah, and I think too, because I mean, while they were, I'm sure, having to work hard in a different way than we work, I don't know, they didn't have all these other distractions. So whatever's happening, like outside on the street, like,
Everybody's like,
ev- yeah,
whoa!
everyone's like, there's a ruckus. We're all going to go get involved. Like, there's nothing that they aren't going to be like, nah, I'm in the middle of my show. I'm not going to go. I'll hear about it.
Right.
I'll hear about it later.
That was the show. That was the
Exactly.
riot, right?
Yeah. So,
Well, yeah, so I think that was part of it.
mhm.
And I think that when the world is just opposed to Christianity and to Jesus and to the way. And so anytime it starts to make inroads and it starts to grow, it faces opposition.
Yep.
And sometimes it can be Jewish opposition. This time it was Gentile opposition, but it just faces opposition. And I feel like that a little bit. I don't know whether we see it huge. You can see it on the macro level at different times and in different areas, but you certainly see it on a personal level. Like you decide, okay, I'm going to try to do something. I'm going to try to do something for God, whatever it might be. I don't know what it is, but say you don't read the Bible and you decide, you know what, I'm going to start getting up and I'm going to give myself like 20 minutes to read the Bible in the morning.
Okay.
I'm going to pray a little bit. And or maybe you don't go to church and maybe you're like, I'm going to start going back to church. Whatever they are, whatever steps toward God that we take, it seems like what we would think is we're taking these steps, we're trying to do the right thing. It seems like God would pave the way a little bit, and instead it seems exactly the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It seems like not paved. It seems like more trouble comes our way.
Oh yeah, the
Right?
potholes will just start appearing. It's true. That's not God's doing, in my opinion, but
It may not be. It may be the world the world reacting to Christianity in the same way. If you think about a body and a virus, I'm not saying that Christianity is a virus, but I'm saying that the world system kind of treats it that way. And so something enters that's foreign, and you know how we have all these white blood cells that jam in, and I'm real bad at science. So, but anyway,
are you really? That's funny.
I don't care that much. So I've never actually put in much effort in science.
Gotcha.
But I think you have the same thing. Like it could be on the spiritual realm, and you could have these demons come. But it could be. I think it's more than that. I think it's just like the world opposes what we're trying to do, and the more you try to do it, the more you try to follow Jesus, the more the world opposes you. The more you start kind of traveling against the grain of the way that the world works and the way the world functions. You know what I mean?
Well, so I guess I've never really this right here is the most outspoken public display of, faith or interest in faith or anything like trying to spread the word that I've ever been involved in. But
And in a couple of years, you got cancer and your husband died. I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah, that's
like,
true.
and I've had like a lot of things who like, and that's
Yeah.
right. I mean, that's just one example. I'm just saying.
Right.
It seems like even on less dramatic, and those,
Right.
you know what I mean?
But I was going to say, but this aside, just anytime I've gotten involved in a Bible study. So
Yeah.
the world doesn't know that I'm doing a Bible study or that I'm getting up early. I feel like I've always felt like that is the enemy.
Yeah.
I always think that, and I have always felt under attack in those ways when I'm doing on a new level of something.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think it is.
Yeah. And if it is the world, then I think it is the enemy working in the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
I
in
agree
the
with you.
people, and in the people who oppose it, like if we post something like this and someone's like, Christianity is BS and you guys suck or whatever, I'm
I
trying
get
to
that.
I wish
Got
that
some of that on TikTok today.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that is the nicest possible way you would ever hear criticism online. It's a
Yeah.
terrible example. But yeah, I think that that's the enemy working through those people.
I think you're right. Although I do think that part of it's just them. Part of it's just
Okay. Might
it's
depend.
just the fallenness of the world,
Yeah.
and it just you know, what's the Bible says somewhere, it kind of says the world, the flesh, and the devil. And
Okay.
so you have this idea of these like three areas. You got yourself, like you spend enough time in the Lord's Prayer in the Message version. It says, protect me from the devil and from myself, essentially.
Okay.
Where it says, lead me not into
word.
temptation, deliver me from evil.
Okay.
And I think,
You reinterpreted the Lord's Prayer.
yeah.
It's got some
Well,
nerve.
he didn't
Okay.
reinterpret it. It's
Okay.
still the same idea, I think,
Okay. Yeah.
largely. But I think that those three kind of work together. So in other words, a lot of it's just laid in. So when it says the flesh, it's just laid
that
in
us?
struggles that we have within ourselves.
Like we're
Yeah.
the flesh, the world, and the devil.
But then other people are too. So other people have the same thing. Now then you have the world, and that's just the world systems. So you get a bunch of these people together, and the entire way the world system is set up, kind of is anti-God,
Yeah.
right? And then you have the enemy, and you have the devil, and all three of those work together.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I just think once in a while maybe we give the devil a little more credit than he. I sometimes think I could probably have screwed this up on my own enough. I'm not sure it required outside interference.
Okay.
You know what I
that's
mean?
fair.
But yeah, still, it's clearly still part of it. But I think it's interesting because I would feel that way if I was Paul. I would feel like, oh,
I know. Like,
I'm on my third missionary journey. How many people how many people have I healed? Have I brought to faith in you? Laid hands on, they get filled with the Spirit, and still constant opposition all the time. Every time I try to go somewhere, things blow up. You know?
yeah.
Although Paul, it seems like I get the feeling Paul was kind of conflict oriented. I mean, he wanted to charge in there. I think he's a little bit of a hothead. He wanted to charge in and join him, and I think that was a righteous indignation kind of thing. But what you see wiser heads prevailing, and they're like, "You're not going in there, Paul."
I was gonna say the religious leaders who stop him.
Yeah, who are like, "Listen."
Well, and we've talked about him before. He just he's willing to speak up, and he speaks so authoritatively and boldly. Yeah, I don't think he shies away from. He certainly doesn't shy away from conflict.
No.
I don't know if he likes it, but yeah, he's got to be a little like, oh man, can't we just have one city that
He's ready to
go
run
and
right
visit?
into the scrum,
Everyone's
man.
excited to see? Yeah, everyone's excited to see us, and we're not upsetting anyone.
I think Paul didn't like to see somebody else. He didn't like to see two of the companions that he was traveling with taken up by the mob and him not in there standing next to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that the wiser heads, the religious leaders, and maybe even city leaders who he had become friendly with, whether or not they had become Christians, they were like, "No, you're not going to do any good in there. I mean, it's a mob.
Yeah.
You know, let us try to quiet things down rather than you go in there and make it worse. How about that?"
I was really impressed by the what was his title? The town clerk.
The city clerk. I thought that too.
I know, it was like he was so like reasonable, level head, just lots of like reasonable, persuasive. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
man, this guy's good. I wish we had more of him around today.
He did, and this guy, I don't think he was necessarily Christian. He wasn't. He's just looking at things and saying they haven't done what you're saying.
Right.
Like the whole
like,
world worships
like,
Artemis. What
calm
do you mean? Although I did think what was funny is when they said when the silversmiths or whatever the idol makers were.
Artisans.
Yeah, when they said not only is our little business in danger of falling apart, but the temple of our famous goddess Artemis will certainly end up a pile of rubble as her glorious reputation fades into nothing. And I thought, they were right. It did. It is right now.
Yeah.
Like, they were right. They couldn't imagine it, and even I don't think the city clerk or anybody else at the time could imagine this great temple and this goddess ever falling out of fashion. Mm-hmm. But the world's gods always do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They kind of recycle under different names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. Alive and
So,
dead.
yeah, I just think I thought that's kind of interesting. Like, they called it and they were right. They could see it
Yeah.
coming. This'll ruin everything. God, there are some things where God just ruins everything.
But it's so, I was going to say, what's funny in this moment, though, is it's looking so, um, it's, it's so doom and gloom. It's so, I can't think of the word that I was thinking of, but it's just so
Pessimistic.
extreme. Yeah, it's so extreme. It's like, kind of like using fear mongering, like
Yeah.
this, describing this extreme, like, potential.
Well, that's what they were doing to get people riled up.
Right. And I'm like, that's exactly what people do today. Like, oh my gosh, if you let this happen, like this is what's good, and they just jump forward,
Because
30
this is
steps
so
over.
wound up in the fabric of, it'd be like, what would it be like? Like, say Washington, D.C. and like the U.S. Capitol building or the White House or whatever. But you
Okay.
start attacking these things or saying that they're under attack, and people can't imagine this city without the U.S. Capitol. You know what I mean? It kind of makes
Right.
the city or whatever. And I think they felt the same way about this temple. I think they felt like they started to see a shift. But the city leader, the clerk, he did calm them down, and I thought that was interesting too.
It was so impressive.
And I thought the combination was interesting, I guess is what I'll say. I thought the combination of Paul being talked off the ledge of just jumping in and being like, God will work it out, whatever.
Right.
It being talked down by wiser heads. I thought that combination with then this city clerk coming in, who maybe you don't expect to be able to calm things down.
Yeah.
I think what my point is God's got more to work with. I think a lot of the times we look at situations and we think, if I don't do this, nothing will be done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
God's got a little bit more to work with. He can solve things from unexpected sources. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And in the end, that we know of, nothing happened to Paul's two companions, to Gaius
good. The
and
ones who they
the
took,
one I can't
the riders
pronounce.
took. Oh yeah, I was looking at it. I'm guessing it's Aristarchus.
There you go, Aristarchus. Carrie's
Sounds
our resident.
Greek. I'm
Gee,
linguist.
you are. You're better than I
I
am.
do sign language. I
She,
do
she
Greek
does.
names.
She's our signer. Gonna go
To get that joke, you have to go listen to news.
You have to go
yesterday.
listen to news.
Actually,
And
you have
really,
to
you
go
need to watch
the
it.
video.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I like that point that God's working with everybody. It's not all on our shoulders.
And he's always working, even in the cluster. It just seems like a cluster.
Sure.
It seems like this is just, why is this such a mess all the time?
Put that on a T-shirt. God's working in the cluster.
Okay,
Well,
let's
cool.
read
Okay.
the first section of 20. You think we did a pretty good job with that other one? I
Yeah.
feel like
Good
we
job
did.
reading, by the way.
Okay. Carrie's been a little sick, so I'm trying to handle the reading part.
Thank
Now we're in chapter 20, in the Acts of the Apostles. With things back to normal, Paul called the disciples together and encouraged them to keep up the good work in Ephesus. Then, saying his goodbyes, he left for Macedonia. Traveling through the country, passing from one gathering to another, he gave constant encouragement, lifting their spirits and charging them with fresh hope. Then he came to Greece and stayed on for 3 months. Just as he was about to sail for Syria, the Jews cooked up a plot against him. So he went the other way, by land back through Macedonia, and gave them the slip. His companions for the journey were Sopater,
Who's that?
Sopater, son of Pyrrhus, from Berea. Who? This is the one you just said. What'd you say?
Aristarchus.
Aristarchus.
That's my guess.
Aristarchus and Secundus, both Thessalonians. Gaius from Derbe, Timothy, and the two from Western Asia, Tychius or I don't know, and Trophimus. They went on ahead and waited for us in Troas. Meanwhile, we stayed in Philippi for Passover week and then set sail. Within 5 days, we were again in Troas and stayed a week. We met on Sunday to worship and celebrate the Master's Supper. Paul addressed the congregation. Our plan was to leave first thing in the morning, but Paul talked on way past midnight.
Oh.
We were meeting in a well-lighted upper room. A young man named Eutychus was sitting in an open window. As Paul went on, Eutychus fell sound asleep and toppled out the third-story window.
Oh, no.
When they picked him up, he was dead.
Oh.
Paul went down, stretched himself on him, and hugged him hard. No more crying, he said. There's life in him yet. Then Paul got up and served the Master's Supper and went on telling stories of the faith until dawn. On that note, they left. Paul going one way, the congregation the other, leading the boy off alive and full of life themselves. In the meantime, the rest of us had gone on ahead to the ship and sailed for Assos, where we planned to pick up Paul. Paul wanted to walk there, and so had made these arrangements earlier. Things went according to plan. I like that, because at least we know once in a while things go according to plan.
Yeah,
It's not
really.
very often in the Acts of the Apostles.
Yeah, they don't highlight that in like scripture quotes, you know.
Things went according to plan. We met him in Assos, took him on board, and sailed to Mytilene.
Sure.
The next day, we put in opposite Chios, Samos a day later, and then Miletus. Paul had decided to bypass Ephesus so that he wouldn't be held up in Asia province. He was in a hurry to get to Jerusalem in time for the Feast of Pentecost, if at all possible.
Good
Ooh,
job. Ooh, I know that was tough.
a lot going on there.
Good job. A lot of names and places.
They're going places and they're doing things, and there's a lot going on. I was encouraged that once in a while things go according to plan. Mostly
Yeah,
they
that's
don't.
Great.
They still start going someplace and have to turn around and do something else. But sometimes they go according to plan. Sometimes
Wonderful.
when you really want something, and Paul for some reason wanted to walk to this place. Maybe he felt the need to just kind of slow down a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah.
Breathe the country air.
Well, I'm surprised his preaching he's doing talks all day, then all night.
He just goes
And then he's like, yeah, I'm just going to walk. Like, why don't you go, like, take a nap on the boat? But no, he's like, I'm just going to keep on going. Paul is, yeah.
It's kind of
endless
funny that
reserve
how he's
energy.
preaching all night and that kid falls asleep in the window.
Oh, my gosh. I've never heard that.
It's hard for us. We picture windows like with glass in them. But
Right.
back
Or
then,
just open ledge.
yeah, it was an open ledge. It probably had shutters on that they could close. But they were probably open at this point. You're getting lots of ventilation in, and
Right.
you're trying to let the you're past the heat of the day. You're letting the cool of the night in, and Paul's going on talking, and it probably is riveting stuff. But maybe Eutychus worked all day. I
Right.
mean,
Right?
and he just he was there.
Yeah.
He didn't skip church.
It's a dangerous place to fall asleep. I'm picturing like the window in Game of Thrones where Bran is like,
Yeah.
like a wide open. Just
I think it's like that.
yeah. So
And-
3 stories.
So he
My
just
God.
falls down and dies.
Yep.
And you got to imagine how this congregation felt. But then just as fast, Paul's stretching himself out over him and essentially raises him from the dead.
Yeah.
I mean, the Holy Spirit raises him from the dead through Paul. However, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what happens.
I
Like,
didn't realize till we dove into Acts and really got going. I didn't realize that Paul did so many healings.
yeah, it's amazing, right? Even
is.
resurrections.
Yeah. I think calling it a healing is a bit of an understatement.
But he did a lot of healings too.
Mm-hmm.
The Spirit was really powerful back then. What do you make of that? Do you feel like why don't we see more of that today? I mean,
I don't know. You and I have talked a little bit about it.
I know
Maybe-
we've kind of run into it.
Maybe people are just too skeptical now.
It's hard not to read Acts and think that frequently. and think this
Right.
doesn't seem like the way we're experiencing them.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
I mean, in some ways it does. In some ways it's so much the same. And you can see so much of your own journey in Paul's journey and in Peter's journey and in the early church. But then in some ways you can. In some ways they seem so much closer, like the bond between them. And in some ways they seem more sold out, you know,
Oh, what do
for
you mean?
for the gospel maybe than we do
Oh.
in our day and age. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, like it's their whole being. It's their whole.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought of something. I don't know. I've never thought about this before, but it just came to mind that at that time, you know, their doctors were what? What would they have? Some oils,
I don't know.
salt, some special salt from some other region. You know, who knows what they had
Right.
in the way of healing. And I think now
They didn't
we
have
have
COVID
so
vaccines.
true. But now look at how many doctors we have,
Right.
how many methods of healing we have. And just because it isn't somebody wrapping, you know, like Paul, wrapping their arms around someone, I mean, someone could be dead and they give them CPR and
Happened
bring
to
them
my
back.
sister.
Right. I mean, it just occurred to me that we have all these other methods for healing
So you think
because
maybe
of that's and
maybe that's part of why we don't see as much of it is because
maybe.
we don't need it as much. We don't require it as much.
Maybe.
In sometimes, I'm not saying obviously there's times we do.
Maybe these are healers. And you know what? I know doctors have got to see miraculous things happen all the time.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, your sister was a miracle.
Yeah, and we pray for things, and you know, you'll have somebody with a real advanced cancer, and I know that most of the time, it doesn't go well, you know, but
Right.
sometimes God answers, and sometimes He reverses it, and sometimes He heals, and
And is it any less remarkable because it's you know, someone in a white coat with
Yeah.
a degree and resources? Does it have to be a guy in a robe and sandals who's been preaching all night? So
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I've never thought of it that way, but
No, you make a good point, and I think to the extent that we can keep that front of mind and continue to understand that to the extent that technology or science or any of these things are providing healing for us, it's still God and His creation working through all of it,
yeah.
and we can be thankful in those. And listen, I get that. I mean, I had, you know, a bout with cancer this past year, and now, can I say I was healed? No, I can't say that I was healed, but the news was a lot better than what I. If I were to consider thinking about getting cancer,
Yeah.
I think of my mom being diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer and dying 9 months later. That was my experience. It was a pretty formative experience, you know.
Right.
Puts its stamp on you. It's like a tattoo. You aren't getting rid of that one.
Yeah, definitely not.
And yet, for me, that wasn't the case. For me, you know, you get the call. When you first see it, I first see the result, because now, of course, you see it hours before you talk to the doctor. It's not
I
like the
know.
doctor calls.
That sucks.
So you see it come through, and I was like, oh, and you know, it took a couple hours with myself. Anyway, but then you talk to the doctor, and the doctor's, he's like, well, things are better than you think. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so is God? Yeah, God's working through all of that, right?
Yeah, completely.
He's working through it just as much when my mom doesn't get healed and doesn't get good news, or when I do and Amber does get healed. It's just He's working through all of it.
Yeah.
And somehow He's sovereign through all of it. And listen, not everybody in the New Testament got healed, clearly. They all died. None of them are hanging out anymore. There was an expiration date for all of them. And
Right.
and infrequently in his letters, Paul talks about people being sick, and Timothy taking a little wine for his stomach's sake, and some of those remedies that, like, do the best you can with what you have. You know, and I think you're right about that. I think that to that extent, we have more to work with now. And maybe that is why we don't see quite as much. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all like it's wrapped in the cloak of science and,
Yeah.
you know, medical advancement, instead of the fact that like you said, God's created all of this. God's created the desire in these people to study it, to practice it, and all of that. And it's like still the work of His hands.
I think what's tough is in our day and age is continuing to make room for the supernatural. I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's hard to discern what's real, what's someone just
Right.
making stuff up. Sure.
All right, guys, touch the screen. Go ahead. You'll feel a
What are we
little jolt.
What are we doing? Oh.
That's the thing, is that people
Are we
have seen so
doing-
much
yeah.
fake stuff that they're, you can't blame people for being skeptical.
Yeah.
Yet I think the real thing is out there, you know what I mean? So I think it's like everything else within the Christian life, within following Jesus, is we're constantly fighting for balance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's real hard to keep our balance. It's real hard to fall off one way or the other. You know, fall off into skepticism, fall off into excessive health and wealth gospel faith. You know what I mean? There's just everywhere you go, it seems like it's hard to find the good balance.
Right.
But I think if we just follow him, I think he'll lead us into it. I don't know.
And I think it's difficult for everyone too to know that, or to accept and stay faithful when your prayers aren't answered
It's real hard.
the way that you expect.
And that probably is doing more to grow our faith than than sometimes when we get the miracles or the prayers answered.
Yeah, sometimes.
To push through that and say, no, I'm going to believe anyway. You know?
Yeah.
I think that there's a C.S. Lewis line that the devil's plans are never more in peril than when a man, having no reason, like looking around him, all hope, all evidence that God is working at all has disappeared, and when that man obeys anyway, that's when the devil really trembles. It's in that realm
That's
of what he
cool.
said. It's not a perfect
Yeah.
quote.
Is that from the Screw Tape Letters? Or no,
Maybe.
something
I think
else?
it is from the Screw Tape Letters. Does it sound familiar?
It does.
I think it's from Screw Tape, yeah.
And it sounds like it would be, but then
Yeah,
I think
I think
it
it's from
could be
Screw Tape.
Anything, but
You're right, because it's Screw Tape talking. Because he says, never is our cause more in danger. You're right. It's from Screw Tape. Then, yeah. Good job, Carrie.
which I finally read.
What'd you think of it?
I liked it.
Would you recommend it to people?
Oh yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I would too. I would recommend anything by C.S. Lewis, but
It's I was continually surprised how relevant, like how it seems like it could have been written now.
yeah.
Not the language or anything, you know. C.S. Lewis he's a special kind of writer, but no, just the
themes.
methods. Yeah,
Yeah.
the themes and the methods that that Uncle Screwtape recommends. You know, Wormwood
It's like there's nothing new under the sun,
use
right?
to distract his human. I'm like, man, it all sounds just like something we would experience today. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It's timeless.
Timeless.
That's pretty impressive. If you can be an author and you can write something timeless, and C.S. Lewis wrote a lot of them. It's impressive. So
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong with C.S.
Yeah,
I mean, in
true.
my opinion.
The subject of this book just came up the other day with it's a book that I got out of my grandpa's library. Actually, he gave it to me. It's a signed copy, and it's called Enemies of the Permanent Things. And it's anyway, the subject of that just came up recently, and the permanent things, and I think that's why C.S. Lewis, that's why his stuff is timeless, because he was so focused on the permanent things, the
He was
eternal,
grounded in them.
completely, yeah. So, because those things, those don't fall away.
Yeah, that's like Jesus in Matthew saying, give your entire attention to what God is doing right now. It's like, just focus in, because that's where time meets eternity is in the present, and you can kind of focus in and you can harness that with God, and then all these things will be added unto you. In other versions it says, seek first the kingdom of God.
Oh, okay.
And all these things will be added unto you. That's the Message's version.
Yeah.
Better, of course, but what do you do?
So we have a hymn that sings that.
Do you?
Yeah. Seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Yes,
By we,
beautiful
you mean
song.
Catholics?
Yes.
Okay. I just wonder.
I meant in my church, like, yeah, Catholics, yes. I don't
Maybe
know
you had a
if it's
Smurf
everywhere,
in your
but
pocket.
a Smurf?
I don't know.
That was random. That was funny.
They seem small enough to fit in your pocket.
True.
All right. Well, what do you think? You think we did good? I feel like not bad. First day back, coming off a day of work. We're trying to fit this in the middle of the week.
Yeah, I think it's good. Is there
It's going to drop tomorrow, guys. So,
there
listen,
anything-
we'll be back next week, next Tuesday, with another edition of the Wildly Opinionated News Hour.
Yay.
You'll be able to watch the clips with us. You should watch yesterday's. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back next Wednesday with a new Beers with Jesus. So visit toddsworld.net. Send us comments. Tell us what you think of the new platform.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'd like to know.
Probably not as readily apparent, the difference in beers, because we don't play many clips.
Yeah.
But we're going to, I think we're also going to have we're going to do a little bigger show coming up. We're going to have
A
Pastor
special
Daryl
edition.
join us and Trevor, and then we'll see cousin Trevor. We're gonna talk about we're gonna do a special edition of Beers with Jesus.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be next week. I feel like
Okay.
it's going to be the week after. But
Okay.
anyway, in the next few weeks here, we're going to mix
Sounds
it
good.
up, bring a few more people in, and have some fun. So, all
Cool.
right, I think that's all. What do you think?
Sounds
Good?
good. I think so.
Listen to news, guys. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give us, I don't know, 7, 8 stars, whatever you can do on a 5-star scale. And tell your friends about us, please.
Yes.
The only way we're going to grow is if you guys help us. And very soon we'll have all the books and stories up on toddsworld.net. So it'll be exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great.
All right, Carrie, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, you too.
All right, guys, we will
See you
catch
soon.
you next week.
All right.
If I can figure out how to turn